What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for a special returning interview. You see her next to me, and by now, folks, you better have checked out the one that got away, which is on Prime Video right now. All 9 episodes, the newest, the hottest, the best reality show available right now. And I am with, shall I say, one of the most interesting. I think you broke the internet in multiple ways due to your events of the show, but nonetheless, the homie Kasey. What's up? Welcome back.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it,
Mhm.
it was dope to talk to you the initial time. Became a fan of the show, became a fan of you. And to add context to that, I just completely always relate to anybody who you can tell is just being completely authentic, vulnerable. We share a similar story with our mothers. So, like,
Mhm.
that and just this whole, journey about dating and love, like I really connected with you. And I knew without a doubt that I was like, hey, we got to talk again. We got to run this back. So I
Aw,
appreciate you
love
coming
it.
back,
Of
coming back.
course.
And I
Absolutely.
and I should also say a real one because the events of the show prove nothing less than that. So,
Yeah.
but we got to jump right into the question that everybody has been asking.
Everybody.
Conclusion of the show. You have selected Simon. You forego whoever that additional person may have came through the portal. You said, nah, I'm good. This is the one I want to do. You asked them, can we take a shot of this outside of the real world? So
Mhm.
what's the status? What's the relationship? What's going on? Where's Simon? Tell us something.
Yeah, so we definitely tried to make things work at the end of the day and at the end of the show. Um, and he was going to actually move to California just like I was going to. So I thought, hey, if this is going to work out, we can try to see what happens. And like I said, in the show, no commitment. I didn't want to like scare him off and
Yeah.
I didn't want to jump into anything too soon. So we try to make things work, but at the end of the day, I am still single. And he actually stayed in New York. So it was more of like a long distance type of situation that I think it just couldn't really work out. And I'm not really a believer in long distance relationships. And I didn't want to give up my life um, trying out, living in LA for someone else. It was something I really needed to do for myself. So yeah, I think it was just, timing. It didn't work out. But we're still good friends. We're very cordial when we're, visiting each other's cities. Like we'll hang out for lunch, we'll do photo shoots, stuff like that. But other than that, we're just living life independently right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The internet is investigating. They're like, oh, look, he tagged her in something. There's something on
I
Snapchat.
know
People,
I
people
saw
are trying to
that article. I'm like, oh my God.
find out. People are trying to
Jeez.
find out.
Yeah.
But but I think another really important question outside of your dating and relationship status is what I felt like was the biggest win of this for you, and that's you found self-love, you found your self-worth, and you did all this by honoring your mom. So I would love to know the status of those things for you.
Yeah, I mean, with honoring my mom and everything, she was always such an independent woman. She was very strong. She was like a leader in her company and her career. So, keeping those attributes in mind and what she gave me as a character, as a strong woman, I've realized, just because a man shows me a little bit of chivalry or a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know, I mean, you can give him a chance, but make sure he really proves himself, to be at, your level. I am financially independent. I'm in finally a stable part of my career. And most people, I think, in the content creator industry have, it's really hard to do that and be stable. And I finally, reached this point in my life. I pay my own rent, my own bills, like everything. I have 3 pets by myself, which by the way are a lot more work than you would think. All of these things, I've become so independent and so strong. And, to have a guy in my life would have to be an addition to my life and not someone who completes this circle of happiness. But, I have made this happiness for myself. I'm very content in my life. So if anyone is even giving me an inch of putting me down or just a little bit is not really giving me a positive experience, I'm really quick now to kind of just let them go because
Yeah.
I only want positive energy in my life. So that's kind of what I've learned a lot, by honoring my mom, is to make sure to protect my peace and
Yeah.
protect my happiness. And if somebody wants to add to that, then great.
Yeah. No, that's the clip right there. Probably I can just end the interview right there too, because the most important thing you said, and something I also attest to as well, is that when people enter your life, you're not supposed to be filling voids. You're looking for somebody to elevate everything that you have going on, and that's what you
Exactly.
said. So we're in sync right there.
Yeah.
That's and another thing I want to add, with all of these things, if you've learned, have you felt the connection with your mother being stronger now?
You mean like after
Yeah,
she
like
passed?
with all this, have you felt that spiritual connection with your mother being strong? I feel like for myself, just to add to context, like when I go through very life-changing moments or just challenges, I feel like, even though they're removed from this earth, I feel like that spiritual connection starts to grow. And then we start to hear things they taught us a long time ago, starting to become relevant. And then you kind of feel them saying, see, I told you. I know I'm not physically there, but I told you. But have you had any of those moments?
Yeah, I definitely, see like signs of her like everywhere, and I'm like, "Oh, she would have told me this," or "It's my mom saving me right now for
Yeah.
falling for this guy who's no good for me." Um, yeah, I would definitely say I feel some of that with her. And when I was recording the show, it was only 3 months after she passed. So like her spirit was very, very strong with me. And on and off like camera, like I was crying a lot because I was still grieving so much. It was so fresh.
Yeah.
And I felt her strength through this experience. I feel like she was guiding me to make the right decision, and she's the one who told me, "Go love yourself first. Make sure you do that, and then you'll be ready for a relationship when the time comes."
I
And I
love that.
feel I still feel that now, and that's why I'm not really settling at this point.
Yeah.
Um, I'm looking for a relationship, but I'm not like actively looking for one. It's kind of like I got to take care of myself. And if someone pops into my life coincidentally, then that's great.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
love it, love it. You mentioned three animals. I meant to kind of slide in there and say I did hear on your stream that you paid your rent three times by mistake last month.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know why they like decided to charge my rent 3 times.
Yeah,
But I think that was just a computer error,
yeah.
and they still haven't refunded me to this point. So I'm just not gonna pay rent for 3 months because I already did. So
See,
I just took it off auto pay. It was really frustrating. I was like,
like
"Oh my god, come on, I pay my own bills. I don't gotta pay triple it in 1 month."
uh
That's ridiculous.
see, when you got a little bit of a blessing going, the devil be trying to try you. Say, oh, okay, I'll see what I can get
Seriously.
in there.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, let's just not sweat it. There could have been so many worse things that could have
Yeah,
happened. So it's
yeah.
all good.
It's
Yeah.
a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a good time for you. Let's get back into the show a little bit. Now, listen, when I talked about you breaking the internet, starting off with what went to meme heaven in terms of what the hell, I don't know who he is, and I'm going to play this cool when Dylan makes his entrance, which is literally the funniest thing in the entire planet.
Oh
Really
my
set the
god.
tone for the show. So funny. Then we go to Steve. Then we go to the automatic. I'm sorry, I gotta say what I gotta say, but Vinny, Mr. Third person, Vinny, very, very creepy. Ultimately to your final pick in Simon, and also not having that last arrival coming through the portal, closing the portal, making your decision. So yeah, I want to start off with Dylan really quick, who was an original, who made it pretty much to the end. But I think everybody wants to know about that Alyssa moment when she tried to swoop in and do her thing. Now, you've been very adamant about there's no tensions, there's none of that going on. But I would love to kind of know your sort of emotion and mindset in the heat of that moment that may not have been sort of displayed on the show.
Yeah, I mean, so I was feeling things out with Dylan, and I was like, still don't really know who he is, but there was a connection there that at least I felt from my side,
Yeah,
which I think kind of made me blind to how he was really feeling. He was saying all the right things, but I wasn't keen enough to really know if he meant the words that he was saying. But anyway, so I was just acting along, and I was like, "Okay, well, I really like this guy, So let me just give it my all anyway. So yeah, when Alyssa asked me, hey, do you mind if I like give it a try if it doesn't work out? And I'm like, I'm what? I'm like so I'm like, but I told you I liked him so much. And he was like doing like you didn't really see it, but he did a lot of like gentlemanly things, like gave me a roll when I was cold. He would like get drinks for me, food, always ask if I was okay. So we did all of these like beautiful things that I would want in a man. And I told him I was really feeling him. And I think a lot of the cast was confused because they were like, but you didn't really know him. Like, did you really have like a connection? Like, are you sure? And I was like, well, he's already here. And I'm gonna keep an open mind and I'm gonna try to date him. So when she kind of said, like, can I give it a try? Of course, I was like, hell no. Um, so I'm not really sure like how that happened, but I was like, hey, she's gonna shoot her shot. She's very strong-headed, so I wouldn't blame her. Like, I don't know, like maybe if I really like someone, I would try it, maybe not in that manner. Like I would wait until, I was one and done with him, but like apparently she wanted to give it a go. Maybe it's because he was also tall and that's
Oh,
his
no,
strongest attribute on the
Mhm.
show.
Oh, that's what it was. Oh, that's 100% what it was. She definitely looked over the room. She said, "Oh, that looks like a my type of thing." And again,
Right.
it's whoever tried to say that like they should allow that is completely off the rails because like if at least you knew him to some extent, she didn't know him at all, and she completely like generalized him. Like clearly he's tall. He looks like somebody that I would date. However, she also very much said that she wants people after her. So she definitely tried to bait him to come after her, which is just even more sneaky than anything else, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, they used miscommunication because they heard both sides of the story where I was kind of weighing the pros and cons of Dylan and his true intentions, which they
Yeah,
didn't show until like episode 7 or something or 8.
we're talking about
Where
it.
yeah, where I kind of was like, is he being authentic or is he not? So I think that's why, Alyssa was like, maybe this is not a good guy for her because he wasn't here. So for the right reasons, perhaps. So, she shouldn't really be with him anyway. So let me try it. Like maybe she's not really feeling him anymore. So I think like she took that as the okay to ask. So yeah, that's why.
Yeah, sounds like somebody was just taking advantage of your niceness, but there's no animosity or anything going on, just in the heat in the moment.
It
Some people get
happened.
competitive. Yeah, it happens, but
Yeah, I mean, I've learned a lesson. I am a very nice person, so I think sometimes I do get taken advantage of, and I'm learning that more and more, as
yeah,
I'm actually being single to
yeah.
to not be taken advantage of. So it was a good lesson, for me. Maybe I should be clearer next time.
I don't agree because I've been in your shoes before as well too. In terms of, I think you were very transparent, and I think everybody knew the assignment. I think everybody knew why they were there. And then when you look at the show, there's only one person that's deviated from what you're supposed to be doing. That happened to be her. You're supposed to be waiting for your folks to come through the portal, not looking for other folks who came through the portal or even across the room, which is a possibility as well. But like you knew the assignment, so you deviated. That makes you wrong, And
Mhm.
I'm a big believer of anybody who lies or withholds the truth. Obviously, withholds somebody's ability to be honest because you
Mhm.
never had a level playing field. So by her doing that, you never had a chance to ever be right or wrong in the first place because she already deviated from the plan. And again, it was a strategy, as I said. But we'll keep going. And listen, I have nothing against her. I just think that moment was just not it, And I actually like her story as well too. And that was a character that I think a lot of people were kind of ferocious to a character as a person. A lot of people were kind of ferocious to in the beginning, but came along with her down the road. And even yourself, you are definitely pro her in your stream. So just to be clear, I want nobody to think that this is like an attack or somebody doesn't like her or there's
Mhm.
some beef or
Mhm.
anything because it's nothing like that at all. Um,
Yeah,
so
I mean, also like just to piggyback back off that, she actually is much nicer off camera. So, I think she is a go-getter, and that's what you saw.
yeah,
We were all under like super intense emotions.
Yeah.
So I think, at the end of the day, I think she is a good person.
Yeah.
But she just goes after what she wants, and
Yeah.
maybe I should take a little bit after that. So
Yeah. And it's I think it's also safe to say too that she came into this obviously with some stored trauma, and that sort of released over the season as well too. So,
yeah.
gotta be kind of people. And you said something very, very sweet on your stream. I'll say it towards we get to the end of the show, but you said something I've really, really appreciated, which by the way, you definitely need to check out her Twitch stream. That information is going to be in the description below. Fun
Thank
times,
you.
folks. Fun times. So let's talk about some other cool moments from the season. Everybody wants to talk about the pool party moment
Oh
between
gosh.
Ashley, Kyle, and Taylor. I love you were just serving face in the background, like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here and be quiet. But if you had words to say, or if your words didn't come to your mouth, what were you thinking when these events were happening?
Yeah, well, they actually didn't show this on camera, but I had a really big like mediator part behind the scenes where I was kind of like talking to Ashley and then talking to the rest of the group, and I was like, "Yo, Ashley, this might not be what it looks like. So you should go directly to the source and just talk to Kyle yourself and, see what's up." Right. Or like Eureka. But, she knows obviously Kyle because she was dating him. Like, talk to him. You have that pass to do that. And then on the other hand, about the arrivals, I was like, obviously she's being hurt by you guys all kind of, it seems like you guys are all ganging up on her, but it might not be that way, but right now it looks like 5 versus 1. So it's going to make her feel very insecure and very like attacked. No matter what you're saying to someone, if there's
Yeah.
5 people that are disagreeing with you, it's not going to make you react like in the most beautiful form or fashion. So I was just trying to be like, yo, chill. Arrivals, chill. We get your point, but like try not to be mean. And then I was like, Ashley, go talk to Kyle and leave these people alone because this is not where you're going to find your answer.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was saying. But I don't know if it really worked. So
Yeah. I think it's a little clear there was definitely some alcohol in the building as well too, but also the tension, definitely. No matter what you say, three, four, 5 people in front of your face, all just saying different things, different tones, different levels of aggression. Of course, you're going to be defensive,
yeah,
and
exactly. So I understood where she was coming from and I understood where they were coming from. It's just like it maybe wasn't in the best communicative,
yeah,
cordial way. And I
yeah,
think that's where all like the drama ensued.
yeah. Whew, intense moment.
Yeah, I
and this,
know.
and this, if that was enough, let's go now to what I really been wanting to ask you. Let's talk about the moment when you had one of your best dates with Dylan. All good. You decide to invite him back for a little kickback.
Yes.
And then, that episode was a thing. It was like, okay, they're doing well. Like this guy is getting it. Like he's getting it. This is gonna work. This was the guy that you did not remember his name. That looks like he may win it. To start
Right.
off the next episode, and first of all, I thought I was watching like an after the credit scene because the episode just went to the next. I thought I was just watching like an outtake because everything was different. Your toning, your body language, and then when we got the subtitle that you were talking to a producer and you said, I don't know what happened. It's like when the cameras went off, he was a different person. Like feelings, he said feelings were fake. And then they showed the night camera footage of him, and he's doing all these really things that really does attest to what you were saying. Like you can tell something was off. He was acting absolutely strange. You can tell.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I would love to know, like, what furthermore could you tell us about that moment, about the scenes that we were not able to see or you weren't able to tell about that?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are confused about that scene because they just like could not believe what happened. And all of these like gentlemanly things that he was doing up to that point, I was really believing because I always give people chances and I try to believe what they say is true because
Yeah.
I just think that's what a good person does and that's that's how I live my life. I mean what I say. Um but unfortunately, after the camera's off, as the show shows, that he was super the opposite of how he had been acting since the beginning of this experience. He wasn't as huggy, like as touchy as he was. He used to like hug my hips, he would hug me. We kissed like so many times, on camera and all that stuff. And then behind closed doors, he was literally like just sitting in front of me like a bro. And his legs spread out, and like I was talking to him, and he's like, "Can you believe this experience?" Like it was just everything that I thought was genuine. It was clear to me that it wasn't anymore because the way he acted when the cameras were off was completely different. It was like he didn't know who I was. Um, he didn't feel obviously the same feelings that I was. He didn't feel like any connected with me more than the first time we had met, which is when I didn't know him. So because of that, it caused me to back off completely because obviously that is the biggest red flag of all. That it was not genuine. So that was basically what happened. Short story, but yeah, it was very very hurtful, and that's why I was like crying, and it sucked because I had given someone that I didn't know through the portal like my whole heart, and for him to play with it, I was so angry and so upset about the whole situation. So that's what really really happened.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was ready to jump through the screen. I said, "Hey, I know he not trying to play her and us." Like after that date, we all like, "This is it." I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was flabbergasted. Like I literally had to go back and I said, "No, this got to be some outtake or something that they just dreamed up." Or I could not believe that happened. Like
Yeah.
I was so blown. I just
I
was
I
so blown. Ooh.
yeah, I couldn't honestly I just really couldn't either. And then, I'm a very forgiving person, so I was like maybe he just couldn't put himself out there, because the cameras were on. And I was like, okay, but why didn't he realize that I was actually being genuine? Like he
Yeah.
has to be smart enough to know that part.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was like where it was really hurtful.
Mm, mm. Whew. Woosah. I know
I know.
everybody listening, they probably thinking the same thing. Like, man, let's find this Instagram right now. Let's go out there. Like
What
for
an
real. It was
experience, I gotta say. It was definitely something. I don't regret going through it though,
yeah.
so it made me much stronger of a person. So
No,
it's all good.
you're an amazing person. Like no bias. Like for
Thank
real.
you.
Like the things that you did to work on yourself to make yourself a better person. And this is just another testament to it. You done seen red flags, you gave him a chance. You done didn't know who he was, you gave him a chance. You could easily
Mhm.
say, I don't know who you are, go back. Because that happened,
Yeah,
you could have
that's
easily went
true.
that way, you could have easily been about yourself to the point you like, I just want to be a star on the show. So I'm gonna
Mhm,
be out here and I'm gonna do a couple of things, But no, you were genuine, I think
mhm.
you and Vinny like are two that I was just like, yo, I want them to win something out of this, whether you get your significant other or in this case, you found your better self. And I'm thoroughly
Exactly.
happy, with the results. But like I think a lot of people and obviously you can talk about it in terms of your Twitch presence and your fans in that. Everyone's giving you love. Your social media, which you're reposting everybody's loves and sentiments about it, that you're doing something right. That's just what it
Mhm.
is,
Oh, I
and
appreciate it.
the show's off now. So like you have no reason to fake anything, you are who
Yeah.
you are at the end of the day. Um, but a couple other questions I want to get to really quickly. So, with this show being part of the Prime Video and Freebie Summer Solstice, this show as well as the Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis has two other shows coming up: Forever Summer Hamptons and Cosmic Love.
Yeah.
Which of the two are you most interested in seeing?
I mean, as a former New Yorker, like I'm interested in the Hamptons one, because I've always wondered what it's like to live in the Hamptons. I mean, like, I want that life. So I'm actually really curious to like how they get to just be sent there and do their own thing. Like, I'm so jealous of that. And I'm curious to see like how they're gonna live their life together
Yeah.
and go about their normal lives. I wish I was doing that. On the other hand, I'm also very excited about cosmic love too, because I am a believer in astrology. I'm not
Mm.
like so deep into it that I can tell you like every single planet and what it
Yeah.
represents.
Yeah.
But I have done that research before, and all
Yeah.
of it seems true. So I am definitely like a big believer in matchmaking in terms of astrological signs.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very, very curious to see what cosmic love is all about, because like I wish I went through that experience too, because
Yeah.
I when I like go around and date, I'm like, what's your sign though? Like I need to know if this is going to work out. So, it's definitely important to me. It's not
Yeah.
like the end all be all, but
Yeah.
when things start resurfacing after like 2 to 3 months, I'm like, "You know what? I think it's because you're a Leo or because you're an
Mm.
Aries." And I'm like, "Now it makes sense," and I can adapt my reactions accordingly because of
Mm.
finding out this information about their sign.
Folks, you can check out Forever Summer Hamptons July 15th, and Cosmic Love is going to be premiering in August, both on Prime Video. It's funny, I got a chance to talk to the Astro Twins about Cosmic Love, and at the end of the interview, as they were getting ready to wrap, they was like, wait a minute, what's your sign? I was like, uh-oh. I was like,
Yeah, what is your sign?
I'm a Capricorn. And like I was just like, I had to search it real quick because I mean I know it was a Capricorn, but I was like, they're gonna want to know my sun and my moon. So I was like, and I'm a Virgo moon. I was like, I don't know what that's gonna be, but it was like, that makes a lot of sense. They look at me, but I was like, okay, good. But I was like, I feel like I was on a hot seat real quick. I was like, oh,
Oh
they
my
want to say
god,
something
that's so
crazy.
funny. Yeah, I mean, it really depends. Like, you can have your main sign, but your
Yeah,
sun and your moon or your rising or whatever the heck,
yeah,
it also determines how you act in like relationships
yeah,
and emotions and your future.
yeah,
So I've definitely seen a lot of varying Capricorns, for example, or varying different signs. So it,
yeah.
it all depends. But I
And
do believe
your
in it.
and your sign?
Sagittarius.
Oh, okay, cool, cool.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Yeah,
so spicy. It's a fire
that's right.
sign. And that's why
Uh,
you know what's funny? Alyssa's a Sagittarius too. That's why we butt heads.
uh
It makes
well,
so much sense.
I can't listen. I can't wait to Cosmic Love drop to do that watch along with you on Twitch. That is going to be.
That would be crazy.
All right, so look, I got a couple of more questions really quickly. Now,
Sure.
this is a little bit of a complex question here. Now, since the show, have you talked to any of the people who have came through the portal, and or have you had people reach out to you like, should I say, possible suspects who could have came through the portal but didn't, and maybe they pleaded their case why they didn't know, like, oh, my work schedule, or like I wasn't really sure.
Oh.
Like, have you had any of those interesting transactions? So yes, have you talked to any of the people that did come through, and have you talked to any of the folks that could have came through?
So yeah, I still am on cordial texting terms with Dylan and Simon.
Okay.
Dylan, I mean, he doesn't really love everything that has happened. But but like we're keeping it cordial as much as possible.
Yeah.
We just want the show to do well. So it's like we have that common interest at heart. So that's kind of where we decided to put our differences.
He
We just
wanted the show to do well while he was on it.
You made me sound so bad. I'm trying to be as nice as possible here,
No,
please.
listen, you're already in the good category. Everybody already gets it now. I don't think you can say anything bad at this point.
Oh my god. So I said you said it, I didn't. But yeah, and Simon, like we're cordial too. Like I said, we'll see each other if we're in New York or Los Angeles or whatever. Vinny, I have not talked to. I posted an Insta story tagging him with our scene. He did not repost it, and I was like, "Excuse me."
Come on, bro.
I
We need some cheese over here. All right.
Yeah, I was like, "Where is it?" And then Steve and I have just DM'd each other just a couple of times just to see how we were doing.
Yeah.
But none of us really contacted each other until the show was released. I think we both all needed like a distance from each other to kind of we needed time,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And your second question about if anyone had reached out after.
Yeah, like possible folks, people of your past that could have like, yo, I saw your show. I should have been on it, or like I was thinking about being on it, or whatever it may have been. Have you had any of those type of
Yeah,
things?
I've had a few guys be like, "Well, now since the show is out and the NDA is not really like here, I just want to let you know that, someone reached out to me to be on this show." And I was like, "Oh, hilarious. Good thing you didn't come through." um yeah, I was definitely like, "Wow, like it would have been so different my experience if this person came through." But at the end of the day, it was usually because of work reasons
Yeah,
or they didn't really want to be on television.
exposed. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want
Mm-hmm.
to like expose their private life
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
screen, and I think they wanted their reputation to be intact. So they were like kind of scared. And I was like, well, a real man would fight for me
Man,
and do
listen,
whatever.
tell them,
So
tell these fools.
I know. I was like, whatever. If you don't want to go to the show and try to date me and get that experience, then you're not for me anyway. So
Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
it like to me, I'm like, I'm glad you confessed,
Yeah.
but now I know you're not for me.
Yeah. God's plan.
Exactly. So I think it worked out for the better.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Who was your bestie on the show?
I would say I probably got along best with actually the guys. The guys I got along the best with because they're just like no drama. Like they're just like very drama free and I'm
Yeah.
I'm a guy's girl.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a guy's girl. Like as you can see, I'm a gamer, a streamer. I hang out with guys all the time and that's just like who I naturally like relate with.
Yeah.
Because I do speak my mind a lot and some girls may be offended by that. And I don't like to gossip really, so that's definitely it makes it more difficult for me to relate to women. I'm
Yeah.
working on that right now though. I have a
Yeah.
lot of girlfriends now in real life.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I would say the guys right now, since Vince is in LA, sometimes we go to events together. So like that is really, really fun and a good friendship. Jeff and I, we talk on the phone sometimes. So yeah, definitely the guys.
I know who to hit when I get to LA, man. I think it'll be a good time with you and Vince. That
Yeah.
seems like a lot
Oh
of
my
fun.
God. You should definitely let us know when you're here. It's so
And
much fun.
I know Jeff has Brooklyn on lock.
I know. Seriously. Oh my gosh. When I visit New York, we're definitely gonna be hanging out, Jeff. Yeah.
So bringing me to my final question, and it's
Mhm.
very simple. How has life been since the show? Could you talk a little bit about your growth in terms of social media, your Twitch presence, other opportunities, and possibly things coming next for you?
Yeah, so I think I said this in the previous interview, but I'm starting a gaming accessories brand, actually specifically cater to females because I think that industry is just not really tapped in. Gaming accessories like microphones, mice, keyboards, monitors, all that stuff, but more aesthetically pleasing for female gamers
Yep.
because
Yep.
I had a huge struggle in making my setup and making it look cute.
Yeah.
So I want to be like the answer to that solution. So that's definitely what's coming next is hopefully me becoming an entrepreneur but also at the same time, getting back into Twitch streaming like more full time is definitely another thing that, I want to pursue. It's something that makes me very happy.
Yeah.
And in terms of opportunities, I think people have definitely been starting to like reach out to me. They want to see me more on possibly TV. So, all of these great things that are happening on social media, definitely a constant growth. I do see like a steady growth every single week, especially. So that's been really exciting to find new audience members who I can relate to
Yeah.
and really connect to. So it's been really great.
Blessings. So that would do it, but I do want to bring up what I said earlier about something you said on your Twitch stream, and I was not able to quote it because when you said it, I was like, well, that's just the most powerful thing I've heard anybody say in terms of the
Aw.
show. You basically, maybe it's going to trigger what you said. You basically said something on the lines of how you are not mad at anyone's decisions that they've made on the show. In a sense of, to me, it kind of related to, like, everyone was dealt a certain level, a hand of cards, and that the plan how they were. But at the end of the day, you're not mad at the decisions that people made, no matter how they made it look. You're not mad at how it looked, because in the heat of the moment, sometimes you just had to just do what you had to do, and maybe it didn't look right, but ultimately, you don't have no resentment towards anybody. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I think related exactly to how, I think people were starting to talk about Alyssa, and I was like saying how I have no hate for her because she has a lot of attributes and qualities that I wish I had.
Yep.
And I've grown a lot, actually just watching her and knowing her. She is definitely a go-getter. She works hard for what she wants, and she's so like, I don't want you, get out of here, or let me try you and let's make it work, right?
Yeah.
But I wish I was better at that. Like, I get hurt a lot more because I let people into my life and I let them hurt me. I
Yeah.
don't see the red flags and I'm like, sayonara. I see the red flags and I'm like, let's give it a go, which honestly is not the best solution either. So it's like I had something to learn from her,
Yeah.
regardless of what resentment people think we have between us. I think that's why we don't have any animosity, because we both learned a lot from each other at the end of the day. So that's why I have no malice. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. As somebody that's really strong with empathy, I'm just like you. I'll crash and burn and go back and say, you know what, it's okay. It's not a big deal.
Right.
Things
But it
happen.
is a big deal. You
Oh
should
yeah, for
stand up for
sure.
yourself,
Oh, for
So,
sure, for
right.
sure. And you
Definitely
want
learned
to
that.
protect that inner peace and that self happiness, because at the end of the day, that's your head on that pillow, and you got to
Exactly.
live with that. So,
Very true.
well, it is again a pleasure to talk to you. I want you now to take the opportunity to plug your social medias and let people know when you're going to be streaming next.
Oh, yes. So I stream Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, usually around 4 to 5 p.m. PST, which is around, I forgot, 7 to 8 p.m. EST. Um, and you can find me Kasey Ma, Kaseyma, on all social media handles. For some reason, my Twitter has 2 underscores after it. So that one, you're going to have to put in 2 more letters or 2 more characters. But yeah, Kasey Ma everywhere.
All right, folks. By now, if you haven't, totally check out the one that got away. Available now on Prime Video. All 9 episodes, I believe it is 9, 10, the entire
10.
season, whatever it may be. 10, cool.
Yeah.
And you can see Kasey have one of the most exciting journeys the entire time, and it's a beautiful story. Despite the parameters of the show, you just see a woman just blossom into a beautiful person. It's been a pleasure to talk to you about
Thank
that
you.
growth and to become friends. So, and also shout out to the pups in the back. I saw them try to make cameos back there. We
Oh,
didn't give them
yeah,
no
yeah.
love. Yeah.
I was like, should I kick them out? But I'm like, I
No,
talked about them, so it's all good.
everybody love pups. Come on now. We know this. We know this. We know this.
Love it. Love it.
But yeah, folks, thank you so much for tuning in for this interview, and stick around for more interviews very soon.